One day when I was heading on to playing Dandy's World, this is one of the creepiest things that ever happened. On June 19th, 2024, I started Dandy's World, a game that came out to Roblox. I decided to try it out. I chose to play as Poppy, mostly because she had a nice, cheery look. When I started to play, I went to do some machines. It was hard to play with players at first, because they always tried to leave since they never choose starters. But I was able to join a team. Once I joined a team, I started to look for some machines. They were quite easy and not too intense. I started to look for my second machine, but then it's time for us to go. While I was leaving, I found a soda can called Poppy Pop. I looked at the machine that was nearby, which I don't think normally loaded. It showed my character. But unlike mine, the Poppy Pop machine was covered in what seemed like blood. I shrugged it off, thinking it was just something that's part of the game. So I continued on. When we started the next floor, I started to see weird events that I don't think were normal in the game, even though I just started. Once I went to look for a machine to do, I saw a puddle of blood. It was starting to get a little odd. Then I encountered my first Twisted, which was Twisted in Boxton. I was thinking that the blood would have been on them, but when I looked, they didn't have blood, but instead just black goo. That's when I realized there's something odd about this. I continued to look around, and then I encountered what seemed to be someone playing as Poppy, which I don't remember joining her run. I went up closer, and they disappeared. I was thinking that they could just be some hacker, and they're just trying to cheat. Then, while I was heading back, he didn't see that person anywhere. Didn't see them enter. Then we left. Despite appearing sounds before when someone didn't make it, they died. But I didn't hear any, despite knowing someone's gone. When we went to the next floor, things started to get really odd. Cardboard cutouts, items, and anything related to Poppy was covered in blood, which obviously was not normal. The first floor was almost perfectly fine, and now everything's starting to get odd. When we continued on, he saw him again. Except this time instead of looking like an average poppy, instead her her bow was a dark blue. Her socks were blue and black. Her skin was a pink with a red dress. But instead of being something like a skin, which I'd expect it to be, I can notice blood on them that's glowing. When they turned around, her face was completely replaced with two bloody X's instead of an average normal face. Things started to glitch out. The room started to get dark. Even blackouts started to get even darker, where I can hardly see myself. Twisted started to show up less. Then, when the game started to glitch after that, things got even worse. Instead of a normal Twisted, they're monstrous creatures. I heard about tunes called mains, and their Twisteds are insane, but these weren't mains. These were tunes that you would normally see Twisted, but these ones were more mangled, covered in blood instead of the black goo. And things started to get even worse. Here started to look eerie. The Twisted started to get even more hostile, and other tunes started to die in an unnatural way. Instead of exploding with the black goo, instead it was a big splash of blood. When I got to floor 29, the most scariest thing happened in the run. The player that I saw started to show up, and when I completed the last machine, there in front of the door of the elevator, it started to walk. Unlike a normal player, it started to walk slowly and sway their hands left and right. Other players never had that, and I started to realize that this might not be a normal player. Normal players could even be hackers, but this one isn't even that. When it got right up to me, it grabbed me, and the last moment before I died, the last thing I saw in the game was a big open mouth of hundreds of rows of teeth. And as the mouth chomped down, the run ended. Then an error message have shown up saying Sorry, you've been kicked out of the game. There's been an unknown entity that we're trying to find. The only one thing to do is to tell 50 people about this. If you don't to do it within the limit, you'll end up just like the others. And that scared me the most of that text. It's been a month ever since. I hadn't told 50 people about the event. But I felt an eerie presence. In my house, I started to see puddles of blood and text made from blood saying, "Oh great heat, blood poppy, shall will take your blood for energy." I started to feel unsafe at my house. I went to call my parents to ask if I could stay for a while. And they said that I could. I told them the story, and they didn't believe me because, well, it was from a game. Games aren't alive. They can't just magically, physically break the fourth wall and enter human reality. Right? Before I left so I could go to my parents, I saw a message outside my door. It says, "Though wherever you go, blood poppy shall follow." That was my story, guys. Story on Dandy's World Creepypasta, Blood Poppy. Just to know, you might hear some music. It'd let you know I will be giving credits. Well, I mean, I don't know who made the music. I just hope it ain't copyrighted. I heard it quite a bit though, so it might not. But I hope you guys have a good time, and I'll see you soon.